Thanks for joining us on the very first Pharm Girls podcast from the Nebraska Pharmacists Association. Hi, everybody. I'm Marcia Muting. I am the Chief Executive Officer of the NPA.
And I am Amy Holman, the project coordinator at the NPA. And this is our first podcast, so we wanted to start by giving a little background on the NPA and what the heck we do here.
Absolutely. A lot of people who aren't members of the NPA especially say, we don't know what you do.
Right.
It's true. So,
which we do a lot in a day, actually.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, we are an army of four.
Right.
And we do all kinds of things for people in the profession, including pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, pharmacy students, and other people who are considered friends of pharmacy.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting, Amy, because the NPA has been around. The Nebraska Pharmacists Association has been around since 1881.
That's kind of crazy.
I know. Yes, it is. And it started out as a group of pharmacy owners who needed to band together for purchasing power, or, you know, it's kind of funny as we go back through the old Mortar and Pestle, the old journals. Right. A lot of the things that they faced back then aren't any different than some of the issues they have now.
True.
So very, very interesting. But you know, the NPA is the Professional Association for Pharmacy Professionals in Nebraska.
Right.
We recognize the value of pharmacists in healthcare, and we support the concept of a unified voice for pharmacy. So the Nebraska Pharmacists Association represents pharmacy professionals in hospitals and health systems, chain stores, independent pharmacies, and pharmacists working in all areas of healthcare, including industry and veterinary, nuclear, compounding, and the specialty, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So we are the unified voice for pharmacy.
We want to be a resource for advocating, educating, and connecting our pharmacy community in Nebraska. So, like you said, we have a diverse group of pharmacists that are members of the NPA that are in all different practice areas. Like you were saying, they work, they teach, they study in the pharmacy field, and that allows our members to have a great peer network also. So there's always people that you can talk to if you're having issues, problems, questions, that kind of thing. We know Marcia gets questions all day long from pharmacists across the state.
I love that.
And so give us a little more background on kind of what are some things you can expect if you're a member of the NPA?
Sure. On behalf of our members, the Nebraska Pharmacists Association lobbies, educates, and collaborates with other healthcare organizations to serve the members of the NPA. The NPA acts as a central source of information for those people that have questions regarding the practice of pharmacy. Through its other entities, we have a political action committee and a foundation. Nice. Both of those are run through the Nebraska Pharmacists Association office, and we provide financial contributions to state legislator campaigns and scholarships for pharmacy students.
Nice.
You know, some of the other things that we're doing for our members every day is that daily news dose. Amy, you want to talk about the daily news dose?
Yeah, the daily news dose is a great resource for pharmacists in the state. We have different information that's current, up to date. It comes out every day. So there's new, interesting information. There's different sections on there. There's some about even managing your pharmacy or people in that, or how to work with other people, different things that kind of help you out. There's sections on different pharmaceuticals, drug news that's coming out. I can't remember what the other thing is.
Health news.
And health news.
Yes.
So drug news, health news, and management news or help that can help people out. And then we have different sections on there that'll tell you what things are coming up as far as the NPA and what we're doing and kind of what we're helping out with pharmacy that month.
Sure. There's a lot going on, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that daily email lands in our members' email boxes Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. We send out special alerts as well, especially right now during the legislative session, asking our members to get engaged, to write their senators about an issue, and we usually give them talking points and hopefully make it easy for them to contact their senator, especially if they've never done it before.
Right, but it's a great way for them to be able to engage and help with legislation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We published the journal, the Nebraska Mortar and Pestle. That comes out every other month.
Right.
And let's see, we do CE articles in there. And what else? We have news from the schools or colleges of pharmacy.
Right. A lot of just different information, again, that's current, that people are going to need to know. And it's great for people to keep up on their CE hours, like you said. So,
Absolutely.
And tell us a little bit about where those articles come from. For the CE.
Yeah. The Nebraska Pharmacists Association cooperates with the Creighton University School of Pharmacy and Health Professions and the University of Nebraska Medical Center College of Pharmacy.
Right.
And we work with students in their 4th year of pharmacy school. They spend a month with us, Amy, and they've said the best part of the rotation is writing that CE article.
Right.
It sounds like it'd be really hard to do, but our students do an amazing job.
They do.
Yeah. We help them pick a topic usually, and we guide them, every step of the way so that at the end they are published, which is, that's a huge thing for people, especially if they're going to pursue a residency. And our students, they get to go to meetings and do all kinds of things with us.
Right. A lot of stuff they wouldn't normally get to do.
Oh my gosh,
kind of gives them a different side of things in pharmacy.
Yeah, I'm kind of proud of the fact that we offer a really unique rotation site.
Yeah.
I want to read some of the comments that a recent student, you remember Sarah?
I remember Sarah. She was great.
She was great.
We love all of our students.
We do
It's
love
always
all
hard
of
to
our
let them go.
It is.
It's kind of like letting a child go at the end of every 4 weeks.
I want to flunk them all so that they have to stay with us because, usually by the end of their rotation, they're kind of comfortable with us. They kind of understand what's what and
it's like
what
they're
the
a part
flow
of the
is.
team now.
They are a part of the team. It's hard to turn them loose.
It is, yeah.
It is. But Sarah said, working with Dr. Marcia Muting and the rest of the NPA staff, including Dr. Jenny Minchow, Amy Holman, and Diane Webb, was such an enriching experience. The NPA team made me feel at home from day one and provided invaluable guidance as I complete my 4th year of pharmacy school. They were able to answer any question I had, included me in all of their meetings, and were there to support my every endeavor. Truly, this rotation encourages creative thinking, professional and personal development, and amplifying your voice as a pharmacist. If you want to read more, if any of the people out there want to read more from Sarah about her experience, they just need to connect with us on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can go to our Facebook page, and it'll give you all sorts of information. And just look up Nebraska Pharmacists Association on Facebook, and you'll find us.
Absolutely.
Follow us on there.
Yeah, there's a great photo of Sarah there and the rest of her quote from what she learned on the rotation.
Right. Perfect. One of the things that I get the chance to do when we're working with the students is talk to them about some grant-funded programs. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the Narcan program, which is one of our grant-funded programs.
Absolutely. Amy, I'm really proud of the work that you're doing with the pharmacies across Nebraska to provide Narcan nasal spray at no charge to patients across the state. You bet. So tell us a little bit about the program itself.
So the program, like you said, allows people of the state of Nebraska to obtain Narcan for free without a prescription, without insurance at a participating pharmacy. And right now we just reached over 52 pharmacies, which, is great. So we have 52 pharmacies across the state that participate, which is about doubled in the last 6 months from what we had. So we're excited that people are starting to want to join into the program. So if your pharmacy joins, then that means consumers in your area can come to your pharmacy to obtain the Narcan for free. With the program, we're able to then pay each pharmacy $10.15 for a dispensing fee.
Nice.
For every one that you give out.
So anybody can go to one of these participating pharmacies and get a free kit of Narcan?
Yeah. So they can just go in. They're going to go in just like they're getting any other prescription. Tell them that they're there for the Narcan. And then that pharmacy is going to go over the signs of an opioid overdose and then how you use the Narcan so that you make sure. And then they can also direct you to the website that we have for Stop Overdose Nebraska, which is stopodne.com. And that allows allows consumers to know which pharmacies are participating and then also treatment facilities throughout Nebraska. So it's a really great program. It's something I'm very passionate about, trying to get more of the word out into the state. So if pharmacies want to join, they can just contact me at the NPA or email me at amy.holman@npharm.org.
Awesome.
And we'd love to sign them up.
Awesome. So if I am working at a pharmacy and my pharmacy doesn't provide Narcan for free,
Right.
I can refer someone who's interested in getting Narcan. So that's like someone who's likely to experience an overdose.
Right.
Who else?
It can be a family or friend. If you know of someone that might be suffering with opioid use disorder, you can carry it with you so that you make sure that you're there if they would happen to have an overdose. We have a lot of people in the community, depending on what job they work out, if they do outreach, even just citizens that want to make sure that they have it in case something would happen, whether that be at church, schools, different things like that. So
Sure.
it's just being prepared.
So anybody in the state really can go to stopod.ne and find a pharmacy near them where they can get a free kit.
Yep, you can go to it's stopodne.com, and there's a search function on there. Put in your address or your zip code, city, and then you can find all the pharmacies that are in your area.
That's
within,
awesome.
I think, 100-mile radius. So
That is awesome. What a great resource.
Yeah.
Nice work, Amy.
thank you. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to move on to a few questions. Marcia gets questions all day long.
All day long.
The phone rings with numerous questions, and that's what the MPA is here for, to make sure that their members have information on things that are happening out in pharmacy. So we're going to ask a few questions that we've had lately.
Oh, okay.
So the first one is, can I fill a paper prescription for a controlled substance?
Oh, Amy, I don't know how many questions we've had on this from pharmacists all over the state.
Right.
Most of us knew that electronic prescribing of controlled substances was mandated by law in Nebraska. It's starting January 1st.
Right. So it's a new thing.
It's a new law.
Right.
And I think that pharmacists, felt responsible that they had to double check and make sure that if they received a prescription that wasn't e-prescribed, that it didn't have to be e-prescribed.
Right. They're doing everything right.
Right. Yeah, for pharmacists, we're all about the details and checking and verifying. But there's a lot of exceptions to this law as far as who has to e-prescribe or when drugs have to be e-prescribed. And the most important part of it is to know that pharmacists, specifically in the law, if they receive an oral prescription over the phone, or if someone just brings in a paper prescription or a prescription is faxed to a pharmacy, that those pharmacists they're not required to verify that prescriber meets one of the exceptions to the law.
Okay.
The pharmacist intern, we can just fill the prescription.
Right.
We don't have to document anywhere that the patient meets the exemption of the law. And as long as the prescription is valid, pharmacists can go ahead and fill that prescription and not worry that it was or wasn't e-prescribed.
Okay, perfect. The next one we have is, how long do I maintain prescription records for?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a first of the year thing.
Right. I was going to say, I feel like it's tax season and people are wondering what documents I need to have and what can I get rid of.
Yes, I think that, storage is an issue.
Yeah.
Especially when we're dealing with so much paper like they do in pharmacies.
Right.
So federal law says we have to keep our records for 2 years.
Okay.
But Nebraska law is more stringent, and we have to adhere to the Nebraska law, which says we have to keep prescriptions themselves, prescription files, invoices for controlled substances, and our controlled substance inventories. Once a year, pharmacies have to count everything.
Right.
And they have to record that. So those 3 documents at a minimum, I would recommend that someone keep on hand, on file, in a readily retrievable format for 5 years in Nebraska.
Okay, perfect. Another thing that right now especially is big because the legislature is in session right now, and so we're involved a lot in that, which I think a lot of people know, but some people aren't aware of how much we are involved in making sure that bills get passed, that bills are seen even by the legislature. So tell us a little bit about some of the bills that are going on right now.
Yeah, there's 3 that the Nebraska Pharmacists Association is watching very, very closely.
Okay.
The first one is a bill that would regulate pharmacy benefit managers. We usually just refer to it as the PBM bill.
Right.
That's what we talk about. When we're talking in the office, we're talking about the PBM bill. And this is an important first step for Nebraska because right now, businesses that are operating as pharmacy benefit managers or PBMs are not regulated in any way by the state.
Okay.
So this bill it is a very important building block for future regulation for pharmacy benefit managers. At a minimum, this establishes that these pharmacy benefit managers have to be registered with the state of Nebraska and the Department of Insurance.
Right. Okay.
There's a lot of other things in this bill, some audit protection language for pharmacies about predatory audits. Right. There's language in the bill about MAC or maximum allowable cost price transparency.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of things that pharmacies have been struggling with that this bill will address. It is a bit frustrating because it's important to know that Nebraska laws are only going to impact those plans that originate in the state of Nebraska. So I know that a lot of people call us and they're unhappy about Medicare plans, and this bill will not. This bill it will not address Medicare plans, but it will address Nebraska Medicaid and their managed care plans. So that's important for our folks to know that this bill will have an impact with those plans and with anything that originates here in Nebraska. So
perfect. Then tell us a little bit about yesterday. We were at the Capitol with another bill hearing, and we had a lot of NPA members that we had that came and testified. And for me, it was my first one to go to, and it was super cool to see how it all transpires, and it was really nice to see our members get involved and and they did such a great job. So kudos to them, to everyone that came out to help us. So tell us a little bit about what that bill is.
Sure. Like I said yesterday at the hearing, I think that pharmacists giving immunizations, vaccinations is the thing in the last 20 years that has propelled this profession forward more than anything else we have done. Our patients see us as a part of the healthcare team, without a doubt. We're touching our patients.
Right.
And I think pharmacists really like that patient interaction.
Right. Because I think a lot of people sometimes don't think about pharmacists as being part of the healthcare community.
Right.
They are, just like other people, first responders in a lot of the stuff that's been happening with COVID. They are on the front lines trying to help everybody. So tell us a little bit. It's LB 812.
LB 812, right.
That's going to help us get technicians to be able to keep vaccinating after the pandemic.
Right. So I think we all know that right now there are pharmacy technicians and interns are allowed to administer immunizations under a federal law.
Right.
Okay, so federal law out there that allows them to do that now because of the pandemic.
Right.
Okay, is to help boost the number of people that were available to give immunizations.
Right. Because it's super important right now.
It is super important, yeah. And if anybody's been in a pharmacy lately, we all know they're busy.
It's busy.
It's busy. Or if you've been in a hospital lately, they're busy.
Right.
And while pharmacists don't want to give that up, I think they really like giving immunizations because of that contact with the patient, which is so important and so rewarding.
Right.
But we need help. Right. And our pharmacy
can't do it all.
We can't do it all. And our pharmacy technicians, the bill requires training.
Right.
And the bill requires that a pharmacist supervise a technician doing this. But like I said yesterday, I don't know that the act of putting a needle in someone's arm and pushing the plunger, I don't know that requires professional judgment.
Right.
It requires practice. It requires education. And it requires supervision.
Right.
But what we really need is our pharmacy technicians to be able to do that under state law.
Right. And it also, like you were saying, it does give them an added sort of, here's another thing I can do in my profession. Because pharmacy technicians are a big part of pharmacy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And help out a lot in the pharmacies. So
absolutely. You know what? I think the pharmacy technicians enjoy it as much as the pharmacists do.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to joke around, but I really do like to stick people with something sharp. And last year, I don't know if I told you, last year or the year before, I got to give an immunization to a lobbyist. That was really cool.
Oh, fun.
I got to stick a lobbyist with something very sharp. And she was bragging about, never hurt. And anyway, that was kind of fun.
Nice.
But I enjoy doing that. I know the techs enjoy doing it, and we want them to be able to continue doing it. And that's
Right.
what this bill will allow them to do, is to
Right.
continue doing it once the PrEP Act expires.
Right. Nice. Okay. And so there's one more bill that's coming up next
Yes.
week as far as state bills. And what is that bill that's coming up?
Yes, that bill, I have to cheat and look at my notes, is LB 943. And the public hearing for that bill will be February 15th.
Okay.
And that bill, the title of the bill is Clinician Administered Drugs.
Okay.
But it's something that in pharmacy we call white bagging.
Right. Which I hear all the time, and I still don't know if I have any idea what white bagging is. So explain to some of us who might not know what white bagging is. Even people in pharmacy, some people might not know what that is.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So white bagging is the concept that a patient's insurance plan, insurance carrier, requires them to get a medication that it has to be administered to them from a specific pharmacy. So let's say that we had a patient that was going to get an infusion at a clinic here in Lincoln.
Okay.
Instead of the clinic being able to supply that medication and bill their insurance for it, the insurance company is saying, oh, no, their medication must come from our pharmacy directly to the clinic.
Okay.
Okay. And that presents all kinds of problems, especially for patient safety in outpatient infusion centers and hospitals.
Okay.
And, this is something that we are partnering with the Hospital Association
Okay. Right.
to have the introduce and to. We're partnering with the Hospital Association to introduce the legislation.
Okay.
But we do have a lot of pharmacists that are going to come and testify and give stories about how this practice has been harmful to their patients and delayed care.
Right. Which,
So,
is not something we want done. And it is, again, I think that's one of the greatest things is that so many people are involved in helping us to make sure that these bills get passed.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, it's all hands on
exciting.
deck.
Yeah.
All hands on deck.
So, and then what about federal bills?
Yes, there are a couple federal bills that I did want to touch on today. Folks may or may not know, and this is really hot off the press, that there are some bills that are being introduced in Congress that are going to address DIR fees, or direct and indirect remuneration fees. And that is a Medicare thing.
Okay.
I don't know if we've talked about this, Amy, that with a Medicare plan, a patient can go to a pharmacy and get a prescription filled. And if the total reimbursement, maybe between the what the patient pays and what the insurance company is going to pay is $10, those plans can hold on to $5.
Oh, okay.
Or a certain amount of money.
Okay.
And then allow the pharmacy to earn it back
Right.
by meeting certain measures.
Oh, right.
They have to make sure that they're dispensing enough generics instead of brand name drugs.
Right.
They want to make sure that the patients are adherent. So if the patients aren't adherent, those pharmacies can't earn back that $5. And this amount of DIR clawback is crippling a lot of our independent pharmacies. It's really causing some cash flow issues because the medication's already gone out the door.
Right.
And
There's
they're
nothing
not,
you can do about that
there's
at that
not,
point.
yeah, right. But in Congress, they're looking to address this, and that's super exciting because this is going to be really impactful and meaningful to pharmacies and pharmacy owners in Nebraska. The other thing that they're talking about now too is at CMS, they're talking about the dispensing fees for the oral antivirals for COVID. That's a hot topic right now.
Yeah. And that is a question we get a lot of times.
It
also,
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
what
question
are we
is,
doing?
what is happening?
Yeah, what is going on with it? Yeah.
Yes. So pharmacies are reporting that they're getting paid. Now, the medications, of course, are being supplied by the federal government.
Right.
So it doesn't cost the pharmacy anything. But the pharmacy should be able to bill the patient's insurer or HRSA,
Right.
the part of the federal government that's paying for example, for vaccines for patients who don't have insurance.
Okay. Right.
They'll pay the administration fee. Same case here with the oral antivirals. The pharmacy should be able to bill for the dispensing fee.
Right.
And the dispensing fee is supposed to help cover the cost of what it costs to dispense.
Right.
So that's the label, the vial, the bag we put it in, the heat, light, water, power in the pharmacy. This is not profit.
Right. And someone to stand and talk to that patient about what they need to do, which seems like that's been something that is taking more time than I think people realize.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
As far as getting it approved and talking to the patient. So
Yeah, these oral antivirals, for pharmacies that aren't dispensing them, there's a ton of drug interactions.
right.
And we have to be careful in patients who are pregnant. We have to be careful in patients who have renal failure. So there is a lot of work that pharmacists feel that they need to do their due diligence to make sure that these patients can take these drugs safely and effectively.
Right. It's not just here's my prescription, here you go.
Right.
Send you on your way.
Yeah. Right. So they're spending a lot of time making sure that the right patient gets the right medication.
Right.
And pharmacies are frustrated because they're finding out that the dispensing fees between different health plans vary between zero, literally nothing, to maybe even $10, which barely covers the noted cost of dispensing in Nebraska.
Right.
So those are things that are coming along on the federal forefront to give some relief to the Nebraska pharmacies and pharmacists here in the state.
Good.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Okay, and so if you have questions, we'd love to hear questions that you guys have. Feel free to send us an email at info@npharm.org. That's info@npharm.org. Or you can go to the NPA's Facebook page, or you can go to the Pharm Girls Facebook page, which is at Pharm Girls NPA, and post on there or shoot us a message, and then we'll answer some more questions on the next podcast.
I love it.
See what people want to talk to us about.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things that we do for our members is help them with questions. You know, we're not the regulating body.
Right.
So it's different than calling the board of pharmacy with a question about something.
Right.
And you know what we always do? We always answer our phone.
Yes. We never don't answer the phone.
So. We always answer the phone. And I think that people like to when they have a question, they want it answered sooner than later.
Yes.
So
yeah. And they can also email, like we said, too, to anytime anyone has a question, regardless if it's for the podcast or not, you can always email us and someone will get back to you with an answer. So
absolutely. If there's one thing that the NPA is doing is we're here to help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's time for Pharm Facts.
Each of our episodes, we want to share a fun pharmacy fact.
Right. I mean, we got to have a little bit of fun humor in here.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And Amy found some really good information. So Amy, you want to share your fun pharmacy fact?
Yes. So our first one is, did you know Thor himself, actor Chris Hemsworth, worked at a pharmacy to pay his bills? I'm assuming before he made millions of dollars being an Avenger. But his main duty was cleaning breast pumps that they rented out, to pregnant women. So think of that the next time you're watching the Avengers. Just imagine Chris Hemsworth cleaning out some breast pumps for everyone. Another thing, which most pharmacists know, I'm sure, is that Coca-Cola was invented by a pharmacist, Dr. Pemberton, and I think it was around 1865. But he invented Coca-Cola because he was addicted to morphine. So he was trying to figure out something that would get him off of morphine because he'd been stabbed with a saber, which we found out is a very long sword. So that was going to help him get off of morphine. And so after some trial and error, Coca-Cola was invented. Excuse me. And it did have some cocaine in it from 1865 to 1903. So I'm not really sure how we were getting off of morphine by making Coca-Cola, but I know I have been addicted to Coca-Cola for a very long time, up until recently. So I think it was trading one addiction for another. But
oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's some of our fun facts, and we'll have some of those each month for you that can relieve some of the pressure off of everybody.
There you go. There you go.
Feeling in pharmacy right now.
Well, I want to
bring
know.
it down a notch.
Yeah. Well, why was he stabbed?
I think he was in a war.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was a war, not a pharmacy incident where someone came with a saber. But yeah, so definitely don't bring a saber into a pharmacy, though.
Right.
I think there's a rule about that now.
I think that's why sabers are not allowed.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
One of the other things that we're excited to do on the podcast is to talk to different people in pharmacy throughout the state. We have so many different pharmacists throughout the state that have such diverse backgrounds, so many different jobs that I don't think people realize. I think to the general public, a lot of times it's just, it's someone behind a counter who counts pills out, is kind of what they see as a pharmacist, which is so not true from what pharmacists do. But there's so many different avenues that pharmacists can take. So we're excited to talk to different people on each of the podcasts and kind of get their stories of where they got to where they are today. So our first story that we're going to have someone talk to is Marcia, our very own CEO of the NPA. So tell us a little bit about your pharmacy story.
Sure,
and how you got here.
Absolutely. You know, I was one of those weird kids that I kind of knew what I wanted to do by the time I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to do something in the healthcare field. So I was a candy striper. Do you remember what that is?
I was a candy striper too.
Were you
Mine
really?
is still in my mom's closet. My
You still
outfit.
have your pinafore.
I still have my pinafore. Yeah, I do. It definitely doesn't fit anymore.
Well, I was a candy striper at Methodist Hospital in Omaha.
Okay, nice.
And that was like, 7th and 8th grade. Mm-hmm. I thought I wanted to be a nurse, and so I did this. But one of the areas that we could volunteer in,
Ooh,
I know, we were volunteers.
Oh, okay.
Yes, was the pharmacy. And what I did in the pharmacy was they gave us a big plastic bag, and we had to put in a bottle of mouthwash.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like what patients got when they were admitted to the hospital.
Right.
There was an emesis basin in there. There was a pitcher for water and a little cup and a thermometer holder.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and a box of tissues. Anyway, I put one of each of those in the bag, and then I taped it shut, and then I threw it in a box.
Oh, nice.
That's
okay.
what I did as a volunteer in the pharmacy. But, the pharmacists there were really encouraging to me, and they talked about what a great profession pharmacy was.
Nice. So, so in the end, it was a good volunteer.
Oh,
Yeah, for you.
absolutely. Yeah. And then when I was in high school, I got to work at the neighborhood drugstore.
Okay, fun.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I was working up front. Back when I was in high school, there weren't any technicians in community pharmacies.
Right.
And I worked in the front of the store, and I sold candy and magazines and cigarettes and we gift wrapped, and we had precious moments and all of the things. But every now and then I got to talk to one of the pharmacists, and they really encouraged me to pursue pharmacy, and it was just really interesting to me. And so I did 3 years of undergraduate study at University of Nebraska Lincoln. I'm a Husker. Nice. And then I was accepted into the UNMC's College of Pharmacy,
right,
where I worked as an intern for John Ridgway at Ridgway Clinic Pharmacy.
Now, is that still around?
It's not. It closed. It was bought by Children's Hospital, and its offices now. But I had a great internship experience. And when I first graduated from pharmacy school, I really wanted to stay in independent pharmacy.
Right.
My very first job out of pharmacy school, I worked at an old pharmacy, old drugstore. It had the neon sign and everything.
Right.
At 52nd and Leavenworth. It was called Lee Drug.
Okay.
And the two pharmacists that owned it at the time were both in their upper 60s, and it was them and me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I loved it. It's a great Exarban neighborhood, neighborhood pharmacy. The pharmacists there were responsible for some very interesting tasks.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I ever told you this.
I don't think so.
The pharmacists there changed watch batteries.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we were notaries. Because back then you had to notarize a car title to sell it.
Right, okay.
So I was a notary. I got to keep the $5 every time I notarized something. Yes.
Which seemed like a lot of money then, I'm sure.
Yes. And we sold hunting and fishing licenses.
Oh, interesting. No one is doing that in pharmacy anymore.
No.
Well, maybe some small town pharmacies.
Maybe.
You never know.
Maybe.
Yeah, there could be.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, some of them still have the soda fountain inside of them, so you never know. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So anyway, I worked at this old pharmacy, and then got married, and we moved away. Okay. And I worked for an independent in Norfolk, Nebraska for 5 years. I worked for Alexander's Westgate Pharmacy.
Nice.
Yes, I loved that very much. And they sold to Hy-Vee. So I worked for Hy-Vee for 8 years before I came to Lincoln. It's like 17 years ago. I started working at the Nebraska Pharmacists Association.
Wow.
Yeah.
And still here today. New positions, but
yeah, different job. But yeah, that's my pharmacy story. That's kind of how I got here. I never, would have dreamed that I was going to work for the Nebraska Pharmacists Association when I first got out of school. I loved being a pharmacist and practiced up until right when I took the CEO position. I would work one night a week.
Right. Still have your toe
in
the door. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of times for the first 5 minutes that I would be in the pharmacy, I'd be going in panic mode. I don't know
what I'm doing.
Yes. But calmed down and things were good. Things were good. So yeah, it was good. So yeah, everybody has a great pharmacy story, and I love pharmacy stories. So I'm hoping that, in future episodes we can share other people's pharmacy stories as well.
Because it is, I think a lot of times with students too, they don't realize the scope of the jobs that are out there for pharmacists. So it's cool to hear what everyone's stories are throughout the times that we're speaking to them anyway.
Absolutely.
So the next thing we want to do is kind of talk about events that we have coming up.
We are going to have an informational webinar from Sync Health. Now, Sync Health is the company that manages the prescription drug monitoring program.
Okay.
So pharmacists are looking at the prescription drug monitoring program. They're, looking at whether they're in a hospital doing medication reconciliation,
right? Okay.
Or they're in a community pharmacy and they want to see a complete profile of a patient before they fill a prescription.
Right. Okay.
But we're all looking at this database, and the database is amazing, and it's got some really great capabilities. And I think this will help pharmacists maybe give them some tricks and tips so that they can use that database even more efficiently.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, that's going to be on March 29th. And the big news, of course, is that we're bringing back the Fall Forum. Yeah. We had a virtual Fall Forum last year, and we got so much positive feedback.
Right. Yeah, it went really well.
Yeah.
And people were excited.
Yes.
About how it went. So we were super excited about it too. So what are our dates for that?
Yeah. We're going to do that on October 21st and 22nd. So we want people to mark their calendars and get ready.
Right.
That was a great event. Amy, this past fall, ran the cutest pet contest.
Yes.
That was very popular.
And it was super popular. It was even at 7 o'clock in the morning, which we still do not know who picked that time.
It wasn't me.
If anyone knows me, they know 7 o'clock is not my time of the morning.
Me neither.
So, but we had a lot of people who showed up at 7 o'clock in the morning just to even see some of the cute pets. They didn't have a pet that they were showing everyone, but they still wanted to see all of the cute pets. And then we voted on 2 of the cutest pets from everyone. It was super fun and kind of just have some fun for a minute before all the speakers started. So it was super fun.
Yeah. Do you remember there were a few people that even dressed their pets in costumes?
Yes.
At 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
I think I remember Caitlin's dog had a tuxedo on. It was super cute. Yeah.
That was
super cute. Yeah.
That was really cute. So Amy, let's talk a little bit about membership.
Yeah, so if you want to become a member of the NPA, we would love to have as many members as we can. Obviously, as we talked about before, there's so many great benefits to being a member of the NPA. So if you want to become a member, you can call us and just ask us about signing up. It's 402-420-1500 if you want to call us. You can also send us an email, info@npharm.org, and then we can get you more information. Or you can go to our website, which is npharm.org, and on there's all sorts of information on being a member. There's also a members only pages on there also, which is a lot of helpful information for pharmacists that are members. So again, there's so many benefits to being a member. And you can also look at our Facebook pages, our LinkedIn page, Twitter. We're on all the social media sites.
Absolutely. So do you want to end on a fun note?
Let's end on a fun note.
Okay, all right.
Tell us a joke, Marcia.
I have a joke for you.
Okay.
I do. Okay, so a man goes into a pharmacy and asks the pharmacist if he can give him something to cure hiccups.
Okay.
The pharmacist promptly reaches out and slaps the man on the face. And the man says, "Well, what did you do that for?" And the pharmacist said, "Well, you don't have hiccups anymore, do you?" And the man says, "No, but my wife in the car does."
That's cute.
It is cute. Thanks to everybody for tuning in today for Pharm Girls.
Oh, and one thing we want to say too is this episode was sponsored by the statewide Narcan program, which is a grant-funded program through DHHS and the Department of Behavioral Health. So we want to shout out to them.
Yeah.
Remember, you can go to stopodne.com for any information on that, or reach out to us again, and we can get your pharmacy signed up.
Excellent.
So, thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.